Hey guys, how you doing? Hey Patricia, how are you? It's good to see you guys on the webinar. We're gonna wait a couple minutes. Hopefully all the links got out and everybody's got the links on. So we're gonna wait a couple minutes for some people to get on here and go over all the details of what we're gonna be talking about tonight. And I have some really good news for those of you that have leads coming. We have an amazing relationship with a gentleman who's building out our system. He's going to be coming out here to finalize everything on the 1st and the 2nd. So the system is being built out right now and it's being connected to our database. And on the 1st and 2nd, he's coming out here to finalize everything. And we'll be having conversations for those of you, just like yourself, Patricia. We have a lot to talk about, so I'm excited. Finally, we've gotten to a place where we have everything put together, and it's going to be an amazing system. Same thing with David. Hey, David, how are you? So we have some amazing news for those of you that have different leads and different things like that have been waiting on leads. So we actually have everything pulled. We're going to be putting them in the back office and then going into the new database system. And I'll explain that to you when we'll probably even do a separate webinar for those of you that we have those leads for. So I'll do a separate webinar. I'll get you guys on there so that I can explain exactly what's going on. So I know it's been a minute and everybody's been very patient, which is I really appreciate, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be well worth the wait when I show you what we have going on. But what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about processing. Hey, Laura, how are you? We're going to be talking about processing. So for those of you that were around last Wednesday, we went over exactly how funding works, and we're going to go step by step on the different services. So we're going to talk about processing tonight and explain exactly and answer questions on how this whole program works, the different types of processing, and exactly what we do with business owners, whether they get a loan or we're going after them for the cash discount program. I'm going to break down the processing for you guys. Hey, Brian, how you doing? So what we're going to do is basically go over step by step the different ways to talk to business owners about the different types of processing, just so you guys understand how the processing actually works and you guys understand the way that the difference between the cash discount program and traditional processing, because we're getting a lot of people that are asking questions about how these two differentiate from each other, and just basic questions about how credit card processing works and the difference between us and other companies that are out there. So I'm going to go over that. I know that you guys have all seen there's a long hour and a half long webinar that we did with Matt, and he's one of our partners in the processing game. And Matt went over a lot of detailed information. So tonight, I'm going to take that same information and condense it for everybody. So that way you guys can get your questions answered about the difference between the cash discount program, traditional processing, words like pass-through, the interchange rate, things like that. Just general questions and general answers to how the processing works. All right. The other thing that we're going to be doing for you guys is we are going to be giving you guys applications that are going to go into the back office, and you'll be able to download those applications and give them to people just in case you ever get in front of somebody that you want to give the application to. We have it already, put together for you guys to where you guys would be able to fill it out and send it right into us, because we've had a lot of agents that have been out on the streets and that needed applications, which has been amazing. So I know we have Larry, who's been doing an amazing job getting deals in, and a few other agents that are out there pounding the pavement, which is exactly, a great way to make money in your general area. And as we've been talking about before, there's different ways that we're going to be able to do things online with you guys. Some of you guys actually already got involved with some of the funnel programs. So those types of webinars on those types of services, we're probably going to do separately. But tonight, now that we have a few people on here, hey, Marianne. So I'll be going over all the details of processing tonight. Now that we have everybody on here, it seems like a good time to go through this now. So let's talk about, first of all, on credit card processing, one of our premier services that can save businesses a ton of money. Okay, it doesn't matter if they use traditional processing or if they like the cash discount program. No matter what, we can always save people money. All right, we're going to talk about the cash discount program, and we're also going to talk about traditional processing. And I'm going to go over the differences with these two types of processing, and you can understand a little bit more clearly how everything works on the processing end. And also, like I said earlier, what makes us different from other companies when it comes down to credit card processing, okay? So let's start with how the processing game originated. Years and years ago, Visa and MasterCard decided that they were going to allow businesses to accept credit cards, and they decided that they were going to charge a fee to the business owner to allow the business owner to accept credit cards, which is another form of payment. And in the beginning, it started off where a lot of business owners were questioning whether they needed to accept credit cards because they didn't want to pay the fee. So Visa and MasterCard formed relationships with different companies and allowed them to offer their services as they started to grow. These would be the companies like us and like Mercatech that they allow to work with them directly and actually offer their services. Nobody can call Visa and MasterCard directly and get a merchant account. They have to go through a processing bank. Okay. So with that being said, Visa and MasterCard have their own rates. And what those rates are is called the interchange rate. Okay, so right now the interchange rate, I believe, is at 1.69%. This is an unavoidable fee. Okay, no matter how you do processing, it's going to be a fee. The difference between the cash discount program and regular processing is that this fee is either going to be paid by the business owner on traditional processing or the consumer on the cash discount program. Okay, so for years, as we've been talking about, it wasn't legal within the laws of Visa and MasterCard to be able to charge a fee. But since there's been so many problems with businesses not even wanting to accept Visa anymore, the cash discount program has now come to light, and business owners are now allowed to pass that fee on to the consumer. Now, this is just there's other fees that are associated with this whole situation. There's other fees that come into play with different types of credit cards, and we're going to talk about those fees and why is it that there's so much cost to processing certain types of cards. So you have your original fee, again, which comes directly from Visa and MasterCard, and then there's different types of credit cards out there as well that are going to jack up the fee. So as you guys know, and you guys have credit cards, there's different types of credit cards that have frequent flyer miles, cash back, and all that type of stuff. So those types of cards, they tack on a huge amount. And on a regular processing statement, a business owner will see all these different fees. And so when they're called and they're told, hey, we can process at 1.9%, they're only talking about regular Visa and MasterCards. Then on their statement, they see all these other fees that are coming into play because of the different types of cards that are used. And there's different tiers for different types of cards. I'm not going to go into all the different tiers, but that's how business owners end up, with a higher fee. And then of course you have, the fee of the processing company, which would be someone like us, for example. So basically, with us, we have direct pass-through. And I'm going to explain what that means to you. But I first wanted you to understand that Visa and MasterCard charges the interchange rate. There's always going to be fees added depending on the different types of cards that are being used. That's unavoidable. Okay. Now, this is separate from debit cards. I just want you to know this is not debit cards. This is just credit cards. There's also a difference in debit and credit, which we'll also talk about. Okay. So now that we're clear on this, and these fees right here, we still have business owners and consumers, right? Cash discount goes to consumers. Traditional processing goes to business owners. Now, let's talk about why it's so much beneficial on the cash discount program. Why is there more money to be made? Because what happens is that we're going to charge a standard rate on this end. And because we have direct pass-through, we get to keep the percentage and the points between the 1.69% and whenever we charge on the consumer end. So if it's 4%, then you subtract the 1.69. There's 3.5 points left that gets split up between our company and the processing company. So there's basically about a point to a point and a quarter left over on the cash discount program, which is going to be a lot more than on traditional processing. So if a company is processing $50,000, you take 1% of that $50,000, and that's exactly what, 1.25%, I should say, to 1.5. So that's exactly what, what we make, and then you guys get 25% of that. So I'll break it down on the board, but I'm just going to tell you this: the average account out there is going to yield us, $300 to $400 a month, and then you guys can expect about, anywhere from $50 to $100 a month through WL Madden. Okay, so those commissions also vary depending on different deals that you may have worked out. If you're closing deals yourself, then of course there's even a higher commission to you, which is great. And we can talk about all that stuff later. But when people first sign on as agents, there's a standard 25% that goes out, and that's what Bill's company pays just for the referral for bringing businesses in. For people that are closing deals, the commissions do, the company will negotiate with people to make sure that you guys get paid higher commissions, and we'll get into those details another time. But I did want to explain to you, when you're talking about the cash discount program, there's more money involved because we don't have to compete with these different companies. So on traditional processing, if somebody already has a rate, let's just say that their rate is 3% or 2.5%, and we're coming in and we have direct pass-through, so we're paying Visa and MasterCard's rate, we may have to go all the way down to 2.5% or 2%, on certain cards. And as you can see, there's a lot less left over. As we drop this down, depending on what they already have for rates, we can definitely beat the rates they have, because we can go all the way down to 1.79. And then on those other types of cards, we can go, just a tenth of a point higher. So why would we do that? Because some money is better than no money. If somebody wants to stick with traditional processing and we want to get the account and we want to be able to save them money, we can drop them as low as we want. But you have to ask yourself, hey, how low are we willing to go, so to speak? So even if there's $10 a month to be made, that's still better than $0, right? So if we get a hold of somebody that's interested in saving money and they don't want to do the cash discount program, but they prefer traditional processing, which is not most of the time. Most people are very open to the cash discount program once they fully understand it. A lot of people still don't understand the cash discount program, or they think it's illegal, or they think it's a scam, and that's fine. That's when you're just going to jump them on the phone with somebody like myself or Matt or Michael, and we'll talk to those business owners and explain to them. So, great rebuttals for that is, what? I've heard that a lot. A lot of people don't understand the cash discount program and don't understand how we can actually eliminate people's fees. And what we don't want agents doing is even bothering to explain, hey, we're going to push that fee onto the consumer. Let us explain that to them and explain it the way that we do. That way they understand it and we can explain it properly, because some business owners are going to get nervous when they hear that, and they're going to think that they're going to lose business. And that's another thing that you guys will deal with the cash discount program, is business owners think, if I pass this fee on to the consumer, I'm going to lose business. But the truth of the matter is, right about now, 15 to 25% of the country has already switched over, and they're not going back, and they don't have any issues like that. Once in a while, if they do have an issue, there's an override button to where the business owner can take on that fee if they choose to do so. But very rarely do they even have to worry about that. Okay, so I want to make that clear, that the cash discount program for 90% of business models out there is the best thing that they can possibly do to be able to save all that money every single month. Okay, as you guys already know, the average business, their actual profit is typically, only 10%. So if somebody's doing, $40, $50, $100,000 in monthly business, they're maybe making 10, 15%. Some businesses 20%. But to be able to save 3 or 4% is huge every single month. And that's why the cash discount program is so powerful, because they can save that money and they can use it for other services that are going to benefit their business. Okay, so I want to make that clear is that the cash discount program by far is the best thing going. And now that we're talking about what separates us from other businesses on the cash discount program, what I want to explain to you is this: on the cash discount program, other people that offer the cash discount program are going to do things like force people into a lease, or they're going to not be able to reprogram the equipment they have. They're not able to take the equipment that so many people are using these days, which is the Clover unit, and there's no way for them to reprogram that. Because we have a software solution, we can reprogram the Clover units and reprogram most of the equipment that they already have. In some cases, if they're processing enough money, we'll give them free equipment. We would like to get some leases done when they're possible. We just had a couple leases done for a couple of agents. Why do we want to do that? Because on the leases, we make money and you guys put money in your pocket as well. So on the leases, we can make a few $100s for you guys when we can get someone to sign up for a lease. Okay. There's also different options, as Matt was explaining to you in other videos, with mobile applications and other things that we can do on a monthly basis with them if we choose to do so. And if the business owner is interested in hearing about different solutions, we can wrap it all into one package. And again, that's exactly why you want to leave that in our hands. But I definitely want you guys to have that information so that you understand that the way that these things actually work. Okay, so we went over the cash discount program. I think a lot of you already understand it. It does get passed on to the consumer. It is 100% legal. It's the wave of the future. We're one of the few processing companies that's allowed to offer legally the cash discount program. And once we get in front of the business owners and explain it to them and they understand it, then they see, okay, there's no scam going on. And we're the ones that like to explain it to them so that you guys don't lose any potential deals. All right. On traditional processing, we can go all the way down as low as we want, and we will go as low as we have to in order to get a deal done, especially if the business is doing a large enough amount of volume. So the word direct pass through, what that means is we're directly passed through to Visa and MasterCard. There is no other middleman. Most processing companies are working through a multitude of different banks, and they don't have pass through. Okay, so that's why they have fees, all kinds of fees in between. And most companies that offer these types of fees, the business owner gets their statements. They don't understand where all these fees are coming from. And that's why it's easy for us to come in to offer a better solution, because so many business owners have already had poor experiences with processing companies. Okay, so we already went over the interchange rate and what that is. That's directly from Visa and MasterCard. We already went over the cash discount program and traditional processing, the difference between the two of those. We want to talk about, again, we can reprogram any equipment that's out there. We can do leases. Leases are typically going to run the business owner $19.95 up to $50 a month, depending on the unit that they want and what their needs are. On different types of POS systems, which stands for point of sale, those are bigger systems like Walmart has. And if there's businesses that need a whole setup on POS systems, obviously that type of equipment is going to run for a lot more money, and we can get all that type of stuff done depending on what the business's needs are. And of course, the commissions on those types of equipment are much higher because they cost thousands of dollars for the whole cash register and computer and units that do everything like you see in the grocery stores. Okay, so if you ever do get a hold of businesses that are bigger, or a business owner that owns a bigger company, those types of units, obviously we can get those done as well. For any of the other stuff, Apple Pay and all this different type of stuff that people like to pay with, we do everything. So we handle, if you go to, we can handle any type of payment system, just like the companies that are offering Apple Pay. We do Apple Pay, so we can integrate that right into their processing solution as well, no matter what type of units they have. All right. So the next thing that I do want to go over with you guys on the processing end of it is basically, when you're talking to a business owner and they're asking questions about the different rates on the cash discount program, again, the easiest way to talk to the business owner is to let them know to get one of us on the phone and to let us explain it to them. And the reason why we like to do that is because we have a way with words. We're professional salespeople. We've been doing it for quite some time, and we're able to explain to the business owners and answer all their questions. So again, sometimes there's a fear that goes on with business owners about the cash discount program. But when we tell them about all the companies that are already using these solutions, and even if we have to get them on the phone sometimes with somebody in their industry that offers the cash discount program, we are able to do that. But that's 9 times out of 10 not necessary. Okay. So what I want to do now is answer any questions that you guys have about processing, about the cash discount program, traditional processing, any types of questions you might currently have right now that are in reference to the processing solutions that we offer. Okay. So let's take a look here. Okay. Well, there's no problem in Canada. What it is that Canada has separate laws on their processing that stop people from being able to, and I'll talk to you, Brian. We'll have to have a conversation about that. But each territory is split up in Canada, and their banking system is completely different. So that's all done by territory, and each sector has their own, laws that pertain to what they're allowed to do on the processing end. And I'll give you a call about that and explain that to you. Okay. Oh, it's buffering for me too. I'll be off and on. My reception is going in and out. Okay, it looks like mine too. I have almost no reception and I'm not home. I'm on the road. Can you give me a call either tomorrow or Friday? I'll watch this. Okay. Hey guys, portable units like the Cube. Okay. A unit that can take a credit card transaction with a portable unit. Are we still buffering right now? Or are you guys able to see what's going on? Is there any problems with what's going on on the buffering right now? And can you guys hear me okay as well? Okay, you guys are back. Okay, so it sounds like there was a buffering problem. Hopefully that's fixed right now. Okay, everything's fine. Okay, good. All right. So portable units, yes, we have portable units that we can use. Now the Cube, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I think that might be a completely separate processing company or something that they attach to their phone or something like that. So we offer portable units for businesses that need to travel and accept credit cards. We can also set people up with an app on their phone. We can also allow people to process directly through their computer. We are the only people that are able to do things like that, to where we can set people up with a mobile application that has a processing solution built right into it, connected directly to their merchant account. We can get almost anything done. So when it comes to mobile units, we also have mobile units, and we'll typically get a lease on one of those units and allow them to lease one of those units out for $20 a month or something like that, depending on what their business needs are. Okay, so that's how those portable. But if you're talking about a specific company that does processing, I think Cube only works with certain, a certain processing group, or they're their own company. I'm not sure about the Cube. I'll have to look into that particular unit to get an answer for you on that, which I will. I'll give you a call and give you the answer to that. Okay, so I wanted to go over, those. And if you guys have any other questions about processing, feel free to ask them. But I just wanted to cover the bases on it tonight. And next week, we'll probably be going over another service. And for those of you that are involved with, again, any types of leads or anything like that, we have some really good news for you guys. And that's going to be on the 1st and 2nd of the month. The gentleman that's building everything out is coming out here to our company to finalize everything. And you guys are going to see a very dramatic change. Also, everything's being grouped together. So in your emails, by the end of the week or this weekend, you guys will have everything in your back office as well, as far as that goes. So we're going to probably do a separate webinar for those of you that have lead situations and things like that going on in your back office. But I did want to let you know that we have a lot of good news about that. Okay. So I see that the term 0% processing and 45 per month, is that the same thing or something different? Yes. So 0% processing is the cash discount program. Yes. So the only fee that there is a $45 a month unavoidable PCI compliance fee. But if a business owner is saving $200 or $300 a month, that $45 a month is very minimal because they're saving so much money. And there has to be a PCI compliance fee anyways. It's a regulation with Visa and MasterCard to make sure businesses are compliant. Okay, so that is the only fee that there is that's unavoidable. Is there a monthly processing minimum for cash discount program? Well, here's the thing is that, a business owner is typically not going to switch over. If they're processing under $5,000 a month, their fees are so low. Typically it's not going to be, there is no minimum. We can run the cash discount program for anybody, but you have to look at the $45 a month and what's going to cost more, their processing and how much they're paying in processing. So if they're doing $5,000 a month and their fee is, 2%, then they're talking about $50 to $100 a month is what they're paying already. And are they going to be wanting to switch over if they're only processing $5,000? It depends on what their fees are now. If they're processing $5,000 a month, but some of these processors have huge fees, then it's going to be, advantageous for them to switch over to the cash discount program. But it all depends on the fees that they're already paying. So what we do is we pull their statements, we take a look at all their fees and how much they're currently paying, and then we can go back and do an analysis for them and tell them, hey, this is how much we can save you every single month by switching over to the cash discount program, and this is what we can save you if you're doing traditional processing. So we have to take those statements and we actually have to read them and take a look at each one of them on those smaller deals. Okay. All right. So it sounds like we pretty much covered everything. And again, we're going to be going over a different service every time we have a webinar on Wednesday. And we're not going to be doing a webinar on Saturday right now. We're going to be saving that time for a completely separate webinar that we're putting together. So we'll let you guys know as we move along. But right now on Wednesdays is when we're going to be doing the webinars and going over the different services that are offered. And again, I want to let you guys know with funding, once we have that funding relationship, it is typically the easiest thing to talk to business owners about is funding or saving the money with the cash discount program. Of course, then we're going to be building that relationship with the business owners and trying to get them into other services as well. SEO services, websites, mobile applications. So that's the main goal here is to build that initial relationship with the business owners, which a lot of the agents are doing great with and getting them in the door on the cash discount program or on the funding solutions. So you guys are doing a great job. And again, we'll be going through some more information. There'll be all kinds of updates going on very quickly here. And I appreciate you guys that have been patient with us. We're working as fast as we can on some of these solutions, but we have some amazing things in store. And we're really excited to be able to offer the solutions that we've been talking about for so long. So I'll see you guys next Wednesday when we do the next webinar. And between now and then, I probably will be having conversations with a few of you and making phone calls to you guys about some of the things that are going on, okay? So we'll talk to you soon and have a great night.